All right. We're alive. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of the Gentleman's Code, episode 29 here. It's our last week in February. What do we tell you? We tell you every month how fast the month's going to go by, how fast the year's going to go by. We're already 2 out of 12 months down, so, it's moving fast this year. Make sure to stay up on your grind. Make sure to get a plan in action of what you guys are going to do. We have our plan in action of what we're doing, but we're also here to break some breaking news for the week, talk through some topics we like to talk through every Wednesday at 8 a.m. The best morning show on the market. If you're outside of Fox, outside of CNN, you want to get a little different perspective, you tap into the Gentleman's Code here on live on X, live on Twitch, live on YouTube, wherever you wake up and scroll in the morning. We're gonna be there right in your face.
Yeah, we're there right there to fucking suffocate you under your pillow. Get the fuck up, pussy. Yeah, if you want to operate in the world, or if you want to operate in the realm of reality, you watch the Gentleman's Code. If you want to live in fucking La La Land, go watch CNN. Okay, all right, that's a good topic for the beginning. How about the lady, the Joyce Reed? What the fuck's her name? Joy Reid?
Oh yeah, fired.
Bomba clot, fired. And then you see all these videos on X of her talking about, oh, white tears. I love seeing the white tears. Keep crying. Da, 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 da. All this crazy shit about other people. Boom. Clip of her gets fired. Crying because she got fucking canceled.
I saw her numbers. So I guess like Megyn Kelly was going through like what the average for a nightly show is. Usually it's like the low end 300,000, high end like guys like Tucker used to get at Fox for like 600, 700,000 every night. She was getting, I want you to guess how much she was getting a night viewership.
If she got canned, if she got the fucking boot, she had to have been doing 10,000.
A little more, 50,000, which is like the cutoff line.
Okay.
Once you hit 50,000, they're like, all right, you're not worth it.
You're cooked. yeah, you're bumbleclot.
People put on that on accident, 50,000. You just turn your TV on. It's probably on from before. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, you got 50,000 dead people who haven't turned their TVs off yet. Watching
the show before at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, they're keeled over on the couch and they're still fucking got the TV on. 50,000. And what was the average? You said Tucker got 700,000 typically?
Yeah, I guess the average is like 300 to 400,000 a night. So she was well below that.
I mean, that's good though. That's what they keep saying about the ratings. They keep saying the ratings. Look at the ratings. This is why you guys' ratings are down. So of course, people are just, they understand it's foolishness, so they're not going to keep watching it, which is good. It's good. The culture's changing.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's more ways to get information these days, and people definitely understand that.
Yeah, the Gentleman's Code is where you get your information. Everything's fact checked. Everything's peer reviewed.
Yeah, vetted. Vetted 3 times.
Yeah, me and Bobby, we spend 6 hours the night before preparing research for today's episode. Everything we're gonna say today, research, fact checked, boom, concrete. You can fucking bet your life on it that what we're saying is true. So okay, all right. So Joy Reid, cool, she's cooked. So I had 2 things to go over today. So one, I was telling you about the Tucker interview with this gentleman who does market research. And so that'll be something good to throw on here in a little bit. So we'll throw that on here in a sec. All right, let's go. Coot. I don't know how to say his name, but this guy's been commenting and showing a lot of support on the channel. Oh, I got one other thing too.
Boomer.
I know. Yeah, Boomer. Big dog. Kutuz. I told Kutuz he loves the crypto content. I told him, I said, join the Taylor's Code and get inside the Discord so you can work with the rest of us and the rest of the gentlemen making money in the trenches. And then you also be able to see how we're positioning right now with how the market is, because obviously the market's not primed for upside and primed for just buying shit and it going up. So you got to play a little bit differently. So yeah, Kutus, however you say the name, join the Taylor's Code. In 3 days, 4 days, it's going to be double the price.
Yeah, if you're loving the YouTube content, if you're commenting on the YouTube content, definitely get inside. You'll see way more information that Priamo's given, especially around crypto. He's putting in so much content inside the Discord, and you could ask him questions directly to whatever you're invested in. If you want to know something, maybe a coin you popped into, we got AI technology in there that'll spit out a bunch of information regarding crypto that you're looking into, and Priamo will give you his analysis right on the spot. So definitely take advantage of it.
Absolutely. All right. He said, I will, bro. All right. Don't lie to me. I'm going to wait. So the link is in the description. Hold on. Is in the description of this video. Yeah. University for the Ultimate Professional. Click on that link. Kutus, join the school. And then once you're inside of the school, go to the classroom section of the school. There's going to be a course in there called the Private Crypto Plays. Join the private crypto plays. I'm going to send you the link to the Discord. We're going to get you the server role attached. You're going to access to the private Discord and the private campus in there with all the crypto plays. We'll get you inside. We'll get you making money. Anyways, one last thing before we jump into looking at these luxury watches because I'm in the mood to buy a watch here pretty soon. So me and Bobby are gonna we're gonna run through a couple of watches online. So a good lesson for the gentleman, right? So every time you try to start something new, nobody's going to believe in the vision of what you're trying to do, right? And so it's important to remember once you start becoming successful, once you start gaining success, there are going to be people who hate on your success, want to push back on your success, right? And so what happens is people get discouraged because they receive pushback, they get hated on for being successful, et cetera. I saw this all the time in the insurance industry when I was building my insurance brokerage. You would get shit all the time from people. Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're in sales. Other people talk shit all the time. I don't give a fuck. Bums, bums. So, so whenever you get this pushback, whenever you get this hate, because I had a hilarious comment on the channel today from a nobody. Nobody. Here's the thing too. A nobody. He had his regular name on there. I have no idea who it is, but just talking shit. And I'm laughing because it's always the nobodies that have the most to say about the people who are actually trying, the people who are actually building, pursuing their goals, their aspirations, their dreams. And so that reminded me of one of my favorite quotes from it was Theodore Roosevelt, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna pull it up again. I've gone over this before, but I just a great lesson in this quote. And it's a lesson for the gentleman that these guys who play in the NFL and they play poorly, like Mahomes in the Super Bowl, everybody's dad and uncle, fat turd on the couch is talking shit, saying how Mahomes should have done this, Mahomes should have done that. These guys are ass. They're all talking shit, throwing popcorn from the crowd. But these are all nobodies. Okay, at the end of the day, Mahomes is still rich as fuck. Mahomes is still a competitor at the highest level. Mahomes is still going to be one of the greatest players in the history of the NFL.
Three-time
He's still
champ.
the winner. He's still the winner. So I've got a quote for you guys who are pursuing your goals and your aspirations and you're receiving pushback. People are hating on you. You're starting to have success. Here's the quote that I always go back to. Okay. So the man in the arena. Yeah. Theodore Roosevelt. That's what I said. Yeah. Theodore. So the quote's called The Man in the Arena. So this is from a speech that he gave. So man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, right? Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Right?
That's great. That's a great quote.
Saying, listen, even if you don't achieve, even if you don't get to the levels that you'd strive for, at least you felt defeat. At least you were out there on the field trying. At least you played in the Super Bowl, but you lost. But you were there.
Yeah, I mean, you think about all the people that work really hard. They're super successful in their own realm, but they don't end up winning the championship. You wouldn't say that's a complete failure. right? I mean, you know how hard it is just to get to that level of being the best at anything, even just getting to the Super Bowl in itself. Like, those guys put their life into it, and then it doesn't end up working out. You're not going to say that, they're failures, but it goes for anything, business, whatever you're trying to build. You might not ultimately reach that goal, in the time frame that you set out to do it, but it doesn't mean it's a failure. Sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board. And it's a way better quote than what I was going to say. My quote was, you don't want to take advice. I don't know who said this, but I've heard it before, is you don't want to take advice for someone you would never want to be like, right? A lot of people listen to advice from people in the comments like, okay, but if you don't ever want to be that person, if you're not striving to do what that person does, then who cares what they have to say?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's my point is anybody who knows me personally, like you, Bobby, and Logan will say the same thing. I'm me. I don't care what people think. I still do what I really don't. And it's so it was another great picture on X I saw of a guy who was criticizing Robert Kennedy Jr. and his policies as the new health administrator, whatever the fuck his title is. And so somebody quote tweeted him, this guy who was criticizing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He was criticizing him. Guy quote tweets his tweet with a picture of the guy who was criticizing Robert F. Kennedy. You see him? Fat fucking piece of shit. Not chubby, not large. No, fucking ogre, obese, morbidly obese. This is not just a little bit. No, he was fat as shit. And so, to your point, I commented under his tweet what you were just saying effectively. I said, so what you're telling me, this is exactly what I'll tell people. I said, so what you're telling me is if I take your advice, am I going to become more like you? That's all you got to say. So if I take your advice, am I going to be more like you? He's trying to say he knows better about health than Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And this guy's a fat piece of shit. So these people are delusional. He's over here criticizing Kennedy Jr. saying, well, I'm going to make sure that I think he was from Illinois or some state. And he was saying, I'm going to do everything to protect my people and push back against his policies, etc. And that was my response to him. So what you're telling me is if I take your advice, am I going to become more like you? A fat piece of shit? How could you have people? You shouldn't be able to comment on things you have no idea what the fuck you're talking on.
Yeah, obviously, if he had a little bit of knowledge about health and fitness and dieting and nutrition, he wouldn't look the way he looks. And
I'm gonna pull up the picture.
I know who you're talking about. I saw one with his belt pretty much under his chest. His belt was like here and is holding everything in.
Yeah, holding in his hog stomach. Hold on. I have the picture. I have to fucking see this. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. All right. So this was his response. So this is what this guy said. He said, RFK Jr.'s views are dangerous. They're dangerous, misguided, and deeply disturbing. Frankly, his policies will hurt people.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I will push back on any attempt to disrupt the health and safety. It was Illinois. So Illinoisans, whatever the fuck he calls his people from Illinois. Okay, so then some guy quote tweets it, and this is the picture of him. Fucking, hold on. Yeah. Hog. This guy, he wants to make sure his people aren't misguided.
He wants to make McDonald's great again, this guy right here.
This guy's pushing Subway and Wendy's and McDonald's on his people. I mean, but just outrageous. I mean, to look like that and then comment on the dangerous policies of RFK Jr., who's shredded for his age and very health conscious. It's just, it's the delusion of it.
Have we even heard policies yet from RFK? I know he wants to do some stuff, but I haven't heard like any drastic changes coming out of there yet.
Oh, essentially all he said is, we need to push back on the fact that vaccine companies have a law in place where the only, what would it call? I guess medical treatment medical treatment that isn't, excuse me. It's the only medical treatment that cannot be sued. They can't be held liable for vaccine injuries. Yeah. Yeah. This was passed by Congress, there's a law that protects all vaccine manufacturers and vaccine companies from being held accountable for vaccine injuries and any harm that comes from vaccines. And so they lobbied for this in Congress because they were basically saying, hey, if you guys are going to let us be sued and held accountable for the injuries that come from vaccines, then we're not going to make you vaccines anymore. And they use that as leverage because the country does need vaccines for certain things. They said, okay, we can't lose vaccine manufacturing, so we're going to pass this law. You can't litigate against vaccine companies. So they're protected. It's the only thing that's protected that way. And so RFK Jr. is saying, well, we can't just have an industry where they can't be held accountable.
Yeah, they could put anything they want in the vaccines. That's like saying a construction company, they're not liable for if your house falls down a year after they build it. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Then guess what? Then they can build your house like shit. They don't care.
Cheap, not caring about it, and then it'll fall down, get blown over in a storm.
Exactly. So, anyways, but just hilarious that guy. But there's your lesson today, gentlemen, right? The man in the arena, okay? If you're doing big things, if you're actually having success, if you're building, if you're growing, that's the reason people have attention on you. That's why you're going to get pushback. But then, of course, your supporters are going to be even louder. And it is good to be polarizing. That's another thing I'll say too. I always say this. It's good to be polarizing because the more that people hate you, that means the people who love you, the more they love you. Same thing with Trump. Same thing with Tate. Same thing. Any figure that you've seen that's massively famous, people love them. Every force has an equal and opposite reaction. If people love you a certain amount, then people are going to hate you a certain amount, and vice versa. If people are indifferent towards you, you're not doing anything.
And the thing is, too, the truth will always prevail. So if you just say what you believe to be true, even just speaking your mind to the extent that it's correct, like people will resonate with that more than this guy who's probably just trying to snake his way into some deal being, the head of health. The benefits that come with that, obviously look at him, he's not that healthy, he doesn't have the knowledge needed to take on the role and make the country healthier, but he's trying to position himself to probably make a buck, and that's not truthful. The people could see that kind of stuff. RFK Jr. looks fit to the role. He's 70 some years old. He's got a 6-pack of abs. He works out religiously, and he's been speaking up on this stuff for years now. He's been saying the truths that people have been wanting to hear for years. So people resonate with the truth more, and when you come off as genuine as Robert F. Kennedy has in this, like he's been talking about this stuff, safety and vaccines, talking about the food dyes, talking about health in America for a long time. And he even says, I know he said it during his speech when he got sworn in, that God made it his like life's journey to get to this point. He would wake up and he would pray every single day to have the opportunity to make the American people healthier. And now he's got that opportunity. So I think that truth prevails. And if you have a genuine attribute to go out and do something, that's going to be way more transparent to the people. And then, like you said, you'll be polarizing to that, and you actually say what you mean, as opposed to just being some backdoor politician trying to get his way in.
Mm-hmm. And you see people, and you see people going towards the truth more now, which is fantastic. Because back to the point of, well, if I take your advice, am I going to become more like you? This translates into so many different areas of life where there are people in positions setting policy or teaching people things that have no idea how to do the things that they're teaching. If somebody needed to send somebody into space, we'll give you an example of SpaceX. You wouldn't put the head engineer of SpaceX in place based off of the fact that they've never done anything with rockets before, or they have no background in engineering, but then they're giving you advice on how to send rockets into space. How do you think that's going to work? Won't. So why would it work with some fat lard who's trying to give you health policy? It should be a part of the job requirement that you can't be out of shape and then in charge of health. It doesn't make sense. It's the same thing with making money. People look at people online who are mentors and want to teach you how to make money and do whatever. So similar, something that we do with our network. Who are the people that you're going to be attracted to? Who are the people you want to take advice from? The ones who are making money, the ones who are living a certain lifestyle, the ones who are actually doing it. But then you look at your college professors. It's the same argument with college that I say to people is, then people want to go to college and think that they're going to get rich from going to college. Your professors have never been rich. And professors don't own businesses. They're professors. So how are they going to teach you how to make money? How are they going to teach you how to become rich? They're just going to teach you what's in the textbook. They're just there to be an instructor. So the point is you got to take advice from the people that you want to be more like.
Yep.
If I take your advice, am I going to be more like you? And then you're somebody that I want to be, perfect. I'm going to take your advice and be very selective with the advice that you take. You have to be selective with it. I'm very conscious of that with people who give me feedback, give me advice, etc. I think about it all the time. Do I want to end up like you in your situation? No, not taking the advice. Yes, taking the advice. It's that simple.
Yeah, and it's the same thing on the internet too. I mean, every post you're gonna read is not gonna benefit you. You're trying to do. Yeah, there's a lot of information out there, like too much information. Like you said, you have to be selective in how you deal with that information because sometimes that was the problem I had when first starting off in doing what I do, especially in the e-commerce world. There's so much information out there that sometimes you get pulled in different directions. Sometimes it's the right path, sometimes it's the wrong path, and you have to figure out what's best for you and your path of which way you would want to go. So I agree 100% that weeding out the information that's not going to get you to your goal or being the person that you want to be, you have to trim the fat, and especially online on the internet, everybody has an opinion and everybody has a stance on something, even if they don't say it in the tweet or in the post. There's an underlying agenda most times to what people are saying, especially in politics, especially in that you could tell by just looking at a tweet sometimes. It's like, okay, well, we know what side you're on, just based on what you're saying. But like I said before, the people that actually are just speaking the truth, whether you're on the right, you're on the left, wherever you stand on the political spectrum, if you just say what the truth is, you're going to resonate with more people. It's just how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people aren't stupid. The American people aren't as stupid as they take them for. So, truth will always win out. What was one other point I was going to make with that? Don't remember. Anyways, watches. Want to fucking cook up a couple watches?
Yeah,
You
I
got
got
something?
one more point actually. I
Yeah.
just remembered that I wanted to tell you about. I don't know if you saw this though. Um, Trump's new immigration plan. I don't know if you saw this. So not the
I
green
only heard
card,
about Yeah, I only heard about the gold
the
card.
gold card. So $5 million a pop for foreign individuals who want to get a faster track to legal immigration. It doesn't provide you as a citizen, but it gets you on that path just like a green card does. But $5 a pop. Sorry, not $5. $5 million.
$5, yeah.
That's just as good as the border being wide open. But yeah, $5 million, and you kind of have a fast track to immigration. It brings in high net worth individuals, probably people that own businesses, people that have some extra money to spend to come to the country. So I'm just curious on your thoughts on that. And the math that they did was $5 million a piece, but times 7 million people would pay off like 30 trillion. So that's kind of another income stream that they're looking at to replace some debt.
See, this is why you need people like Pompino in place to get this money fucking flowing in so you can start paying off this fucking debt and coming up with ideas on how to make money instead of extracting it from their own citizens, right? Because current politicians, they want to extract all the value from their own citizens, which is stupid for the growth of the country as a whole. You should be empowering and enriching your citizens, extracting value from the rest of the world. And so that's a great idea because I've thought about this too, and I'm glad that they think the way that I'm thinking. Instead of people they want to let people into the country illegally because they have this false sense of sympathy, or they're trying to have this some type of moral high ground to let in the illegals, let them in, let them in. Not understanding that they're completely destroying the fact that there's a legal system in place, and then they're fucking everybody over who's doing it legally. So there's no real sympathy there. The people who should have sympathy are the people who are doing it legally. How do you help the people who are doing it legally? I've thought about this. How about you just improve the current immigration system so that you can bring more people in legally instead of flooding them in illegally? Pompino now has a great idea too on starting to do this. How about people who have the money for it, make them pay and they can get ahead, do a little, easy pass or fast pass that they have at the fucking amusement park, right? That's a great idea. Great. People who have that money pay for it, still legal. And then again, if you're on the left and you're saying you want more immigration into this country, which immigration isn't bad, it's how the U.S. was built. It's the illegal that's bad. If you want to improve immigration, you should be lobbying for and trying to create policy for improving the current immigration system. How can we allow more people in more effectively, more efficiently, so that we can get the process sped up? People aren't waiting 5, 7, 10 years to be able to get their citizenship. Makes sense.
Yep.
That's fair. But that's how you should do it, in a way where you can make money off of it, on a way you can benefit the country off of it. People shouldn't just be coming here for free and illegally.
Well, yeah, and it's a total flip from, so not only are we going to give you a phone when you get here, we're also going to give you payments each month of $5,000 so you could survive. We're also going to put you up in the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City, so you're in walking distance to Fifth Avenue and Times Square, so you could go enjoy the city and do everything you want to do. It's a complete flip of that, of now instead of spending money on you people to come in here and live, now we're going to make money off of you to come in here and live and do what you need to do. So I think it's a great idea, and it's attracting high net worth individuals around the world who, maybe they didn't have the luxury of bringing their whole family here, but now they have money and they have power with that money to be able to spend it on a couple of their children to come to the United States, and now everyone could come, as opposed to before, maybe they only had a pathway for themselves, but now they have the money power to do that as well. So yeah, I think it's an interesting thing. We'll see how it works out. I think they said it's going to go into effect in 2 weeks already. So they don't need any
speed.
Yeah, they don't need any Congress approval for this. This is just a kind of a green card working with the immigration policy. So see how it
Love
goes.
that. Business is fucking speed. See, Trump understands. You say this shit. Business is speed. Move with urgency. Move with speed. Get the shit implemented. What are we waiting for?
Yeah.
So no, I love that. It's
20 people that would buy it would be $100 million. 20 people.
beautiful.
You don't think
Beautiful.
20 people around the world are going to want a green card?
Absolutely. You don't think them Saudis are gonna pay 5 mil? Boom, 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 boom. Get their green cards, pop into the country for sure.
Spend more money
See?
when they get here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, this is how you got to be. This is extract value, and in a good way, because the US has value. The US has to stop giving away all of its money, giving away all of its resources, trying to help everybody, etc. Listen, there's nothing wrong with helping people, but there needs to be an equal and opposite return in for the value that we're giving. Our country, everyone wants to come here because there's so much value to be here. Strongest currency in the world, free nation, fantastic country. Objectively, there's a lot of great places in the U.S. to be.
Lots of land.
Tons of land, tons of opportunity for people to be able to improve their standard of living, improve their lives, etc. Great. I understand why people want to come here. But there's value to be here, so charge for that value. Make sure you're getting equal compensation. We'll bring you in, but it's got to be legal. We'll bring you in, but you got to pay if you want to skip ahead and get ahead of the line. So now we're bringing in $5 million per person who wants to skip the line, as opposed to $0 actually a net negative by funding the illegals who skip the line by jumping over the fucking border. Yeah.
It's a brilliant move.
And some people think we're radical. Radical. Oh my.
Yeah, right?
Anyways, yeah, it's just shallow sympathy. Cool.
All
right,
right,
player.
let's do some watches. Let's check them out.
Let's pop out a couple watchkeys. So we've been looking, cause you know us, right?
What are you using here? What other websites, did we talk about last time?
Right. So for watches personally, I use Chrono 24. All right. Chrono 24 is not in and of itself a dealer, but it's a website where you can find trusted dealers. A lot of a selection. Gives you a lot of filters that you can use whenever you're looking for these watches. And so definitely use Chrono 24. The other thing I would mention too is one of the mistakes that I made with the first watch that I bought, the first Rolex that I got, that I didn't care to get original box and papers. The watch was authenticated and it was legit, right? So I bought it from a jeweler, but I didn't buy it with box and papers, original box and papers. Now, the reason that was a mistake is because when I went to go resell the watch, because I'm going to start getting some new ones, I got cooked on the value of it because I didn't have original box and papers. So when you go to sell it to somebody else at wholesale who's trying to then flip it to retail, they're going to ding you on the price big time. So that's why I use Chrono 24 now, because I will only buy watches now with box and papers.
The hell happened here?
Let me know what you think of these puppies. Yeah.
All right, sorry, I got disconnected there for a second. I'm back now.
Matrix attack again.
Yeah, I don't know. Just a little
So
disconnect. Okay, sorry, I'm back.
yeah, you're good. So here are the filters, right? So I'm gonna make sure that these are certified dealers. Get the Kick Rocks bumble clot. And then watch with original box and original papers. Bang. So I always got these filters selected. And then I also, let me pull up the filters. I also want new. So I always look for newer watches. So there we go. Perfect. So from 2020 to 2025, because I want that new shit. I'm not buying that fucking 90s bullshit. But yeah, the Wimbledon. So I'm planning on buying this for the next Rolex. Have something classy, the green Roman numerals, that gray dial's very nice, very
I like
classy.
the Roman numerals a lot.
Yeah. That was the first Rolex I bought had the Roman numerals as well. The Roman numerals class, that's different. Gold, two-tone. But let's see, 2024 used. So you're seeing anywhere between 10 and 15 Wimbledon, which makes sense. Let's see. Let's take a look at this one. Promoted. Sure they can't see none of my fucking info. 36 millimeter. They already got me now. They know what's going on. Yes. Yeah, they already know. So, but yeah, this is how you want to look for the watch. I would not buy it without the original box and papers unless you're a watch flipper. That's your hustle. You're buying them, you're flipping them, you're selling them to retail. Okay, fine. Personally, to keep, to wear, to have long term, I wouldn't get it without the original box and
Yeah,
papers.
100%. So, what's your thought and what's your take on gold versus silver? So, something like this, somebody wants to get one, but they see this date just here, silver, obviously. What's your take on gold versus silver? I know it's a pretty, people go back and forth on it. Some guys like gold, some guys like silver. I personally really don't have a preference. I think they're both good for different situations, different outfits. Just
Right.
curious what you think, because this one's silver here.
Yeah, I agree. So it's going to be dependent on the situation. So you don't typically want to mix gold and silver at the same time. So, for example, whenever I would wear my Rolex, I wouldn't have on my gold bracelets. I always have my gold chain, but that's not always showing with an outfit. But you don't want to mix silver and gold, right? So if you're going to be showing gold on your wrist, you're going to be showing gold on your fingers. If you have rings, then you want the gold watch or something to match that. You don't want to have opposites. If you do have the silver on, the silver watch, then typically you just want to allow the watch to rock, and you don't want to have all the gold showing because it throws off the look. So yeah, personally, I don't have a preference in the sense that I would only wear one over the other. It just depends on what you're wearing. What's the situation? Does it make sense? Does it look good? That's why you want your first Rolex to be something that you can wear with a lot of different things. Because if you're not buying a bunch of different watches to be able to match with different outfits, you want to have something that's pretty plain that's going to go with everything. So that's exactly what I did with my first date. It was silver. It was two-tone in the sense that it was white gold. So it was white gold bezel, fluted bezel. It was the Jubilee band, and it was actually very similar to this, literally this, but just not the Wimbledon. And the reason I bought that for the first one was because it went with everything. I could wear it with anything. If I wore it with a suit, I was wearing the shit to the fucking gym. I didn't care, bro. I just fucking had my watch on all the time. So yeah, I would start with something silver. Something like this is beautiful. You don't have to necessarily start with the Wimbledon if you don't have fucking 5 figures to drop on a watch right now. But you can get just starter, because I actually spent about 10.5K, a little bit, 10,500 on my first Rolex. So you can go there if you're pimping, but you could do something just to give these guys an idea. You don't have to drop 10 G's on a Rolex for the first Rolex that you buy. So if we just do a date just, right? So look at this. Date just from $409. Well, obviously you're not going to get one that's $409. But look, you can get a 36 millimeter date just for $3,300. It doesn't have to be fucking outrageous.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, for sure. So if you do, now I would include box and papers on this. So where's it at? Okay, now box and papers, you see how much the
Yeah.
price jumps up. Yeah, that's the big difference. When you get the box and papers with it, it's gonna be a big difference in the price. But again, it's what do you want to do with it? If you're never gonna sell it again, and you're okay with not having the box and papers, you can go for it if you want to catch something for like 3-4 G's.
Yeah.
Again, personally, I'm not doing that, but if you want to, you could.
Yeah, because then you're putting it at risk for the authentication. You don't know if you don't have the papers with it. You don't know if what you're getting is legit or what they say it is.
Right. So you could try this. You could say, okay, it's a certified dealer through Chrono, but you don't do the box and papers. So you could say, all right, I know the watch is still legit. I just don't have the original box and papers with it. Now you're able to find it for a lot less. So you could find something for $5,000. This one doesn't look too bad. 2002 though. You see how much older they are.
Yeah, you
though.
can see the style in it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see a big difference.
I like that one with the navy blue on the inside, if that's what it is, navy blue.
This one
Or-
I'm hovering on right now.
Yeah. I can't tell if that's navy blue or if it's black.
That is clean. That's different.
I like the lines on it, like the lines on the inside.
Yeah. That's black, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, black. Interesting.
That one's
That's
cool
a nice-
because the light would hit that differently depending on the angle, and it would show those lines. Or this, like right here, it just shows dark black. I like that one. That one's different.
Yeah, I like this too. That is nice. That's very different. Interesting. Got nice two-tone. Got the gold, you got the silver. Interesting. That is a very nice watch. 7Gs. Contact them, gentlemen. Get them down to 5Gs. See if you can make it happen. Probably not, but maybe get it down to 6. That's different. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a nice watch.
And for me too, I have smaller wrists, smaller, skinnier arms, so it's always you always want to that's gonna fit good. I can't really wear anything too bulky because it'll be clunky on my wrist. It'll look too big. So something skinnier like that, it looked like I had a skinnier band, skinnier face, would fit me a lot better. So just for guys that are out there in the watch market, make sure you go out and you kind of see what it looks like in person too. Because, for guys that do have larger wrists, a skinnier watch and a smaller face might not look as good on you because you're a larger guy, you got larger forearms or whatever. So it's just another way to kind of, make it that perfect watch for you, that perfect fit.
Exactly. No, I agree for sure. You got to make sure that these fit well. So the 36 millimeter is the diameter of the face for those of you guys that don't know. And then the wrist itself, if you have small wrists, they're able to take links out to make it tight on your wrist. But you definitely need a smaller face if you have smaller wrists. And then this one's nice too. This one's classy. This is very classy.
The white face. So this is the opposite from what we just looked at, the black face. This is the white face here.
Yep. This is very classy. Roman numerals on the dial. Got your date right there. Bang. And again, like I said before, you'd never buy the Rolex to be able to tell the time or use the date, but it's a nice look. Nobody fucking uses
What
the
day
Rolex
is
for
it?
the time. Yeah, right. What? Oh, it's the 15th. I forgot. Okay. Get the fuck out of here.
Like you
People
don't
are
got your
hilarious.
$1,000 iPhone telling you every time you go on it.
Exactly. But look at this class. This is very nice. 7,200. You could probably get them down to 7,000 if you contact them. Very good year production, 93. So not super. I mean, it's old, but not super old. It doesn't look.
But I mean, it could go both ways with a 1993. It's classic. That's what it's giving. So if you do want to go for that, and you have the papers that show, hey, this watch is from 1993. When you look back on it in 30, 40 years, you're gonna go, wow, okay, this watch is almost 50 years old. Which if you keep it in shape, if you keep it looking clean, it's probably going to be worth even more.